I'm Chris Morganelli, co-creator of Network Magazine and CEO at MCIT. In a partnership with Countess Communications, we are excited to bring you an engaging and meaningful video series called the Network Magazine Executive Forum. We want to thank these sponsors who have made the Network Magazine Executive Forum possible.
Hi, I'm Marta Countess. I'm the president of Countess Communications, and we are proud partners with Network Magazine for this video series. Today, our guest is Tony Iannelli. Tony is the CEO and president of the Greater Lehigh Valley Chamber, and you're the 6th largest in the United States, which we proudly hear a lot. We are also proud members of the Chamber, so we're delighted to have you and delighted to turn the tables on you because normally you do the interviews. Yeah. So tell me, I know you just had a big anniversary with your television show. Let's talk about that first and then we'll talk about you.
Yeah, I love being on this side, to tell you the truth. It's so relaxing, you know. You have to do all the work. I just go with the flow. Yeah, 20 years at Business Matters, and I always kiddingly say 20 years, and I'm so excited we have 0 Emmys. But anyway, a lot of people, younger people don't remember Susan Lucci, but she was a great actress who never got an Emmy until the very end. So hopefully someday, yeah, we'll see. But no, but it's been a great run. It really has. The people I've interviewed, so many presidents, so many political figures, community leaders. It's been and debates that we've done. So I'm thankful for it.
You've really moved it forward and let people see the leaders and the business leaders. You're a business leader. Let's talk about you for a little bit because you don't like to talk about you all that much, but you've lived here, you grew up here. Just give me the Tony Iannelli bio as you would tell it to somebody that doesn't know Tony.
Okay, large dysfunctional family in west side of Allentown. And I was the middle child of 7, so I like to negotiate. I can be I used to have someone that said they were going to run me for office and said my tagline would be Tony Iannelli, he's whatever you want him to be, kiddingly. But so but I loved my family life. We had a great family, and we had a family business, which I thought, I'm going to the family business. We lost that when I was a senior in high school, so thankfully I got a job at Mack Truck. Back then, you know, well, it's still now. It was a great paying job. I was on the assembly line, and that sort of got me my start, got me back on my feet, and I'm thankful for that. Then the rest that happened, I don't even know how it happened. I went into real estate, then I was managing a hotel for Ray Holland and a downtown initiative, and anyway, I ended up at the Chamber. It's just really basically a miracle. So.
And that was how many years ago now?
Well, I'm at the Chamber it's going to be 27 years soon, 26 and a half years at the Chamber. And
That's
I thought
amazing.
The first 6 months, I thought, when are they going to fire me? I know they're going to fire me because I am so bad at this, but fortunately they didn't.
Well, you know, it's funny because I have known you for the better part of a decade now because we started a business, and I've always said that you're one of the biggest cheerleaders for the Lehigh Valley. And I think that's probably what made you successful. If you were going to tell somebody about the Lehigh Valley, how do you sell people on this area? I know it's changed over time, but how do you sell them now?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a couple of things. We talk about we say the Chamber's, our goal is to improve the economy and the quality of life. And what I like about the Lehigh Valley is that we have had tremendous growth economically. That's been a great run. But we also have a really good quality of life that's gotten better. So you throw in Coca-Cola Park and the PPL Center and all the other, where we're sitting right now, one of the most beautiful places, Arts Quest. So we've had such great growth in the quality of life too. And I guess the last thing that I love is the people. You know, what you all do. And it's just, I don't know, there's so many really good people. There's much as they're your colleagues, they're your friends. And as I say, that they're the ones that lifted me up. There's no reason, in my opinion, really, from an education standpoint, or where I should be here. But so many people in this valley lifted me up over the years and got me here.
Well, you know, and the Chamber does that for small businesses. And I always tell people, you know, when we got here, families weren't moving. Well, families were moving here, but kids were leaving. You were of a decade, same as mine, that we were all leaving, and then people came back. The Chamber lifts up small businesses. There are large businesses here, but I've heard the statistics, and I'm sure you've got them in your head. The Lehigh Valley is made up of a lot of small businesses, and that's what the Chamber does best. So tell me about the work that you do.
Yeah, that's our lane, you know, the vast are small businesses. And I think because we always say we're very bottom up. When I got here, we were the Allentown Lehigh County Chamber, then we were the Lehigh County, then the Lehigh Valley, then the Greater Lehigh Valley. So as we kept merging other chambers, we're very bottom up. And we tend to be very focused on small business. Now we have large business. Our vice chair, Lori Hackett, is from Air Products. Our chair, Tom Groves, he's a quote-unquote small business person. So we try to be a good mix. I think now we start off by saying the power of partnerships, because we were bringing all the chambers together. Then we went with on every main street, because we want to make the point now that we're big, we're not going to leave every other main streets. And now it's the 21st chamber, 21st century, I should say, talking about being inclusive and making sure. So our last chair, Mary Lasicki, came from the LGBT community, and Tom Groves, oddly enough, is our now chair now, came out of the Hispanic chamber. So we've got to make sure that we're more inclusive and that everyone feels that they're part of this valley.
Well, you know, and feeling part of this valley, I kind of alluded to it in the last question, but when we moved here, we always said, you know, I'm glad that we have a family because we have people to be with. Now, young people that would have fled a few years back are now coming to the valley to make a life here. Your daughter's a perfect example of that. So what happened? Why are people flocking back to the valley? Why is that a great place to live for singles and for families?
Yeah, you know, it's so funny. I'm so glad you asked that, because you made me think my daughter Christina, who you know from Bar, and my daughter Alex was in Philadelphia, came back here. Christina, New York, came back here. But I remember when Chrissy came back one weekend, she said, Dad, when did Lehigh Valley become like outside Manhattan? Like, you know, because we had all these lifestyle centers and all the things that we didn't have before. And she's like, when did this happen? Because she was away maybe for 4 years. So, of course, gets married, has a family, and can't wait to come back. And they love it here.
You know, it's funny because our son, I don't think he'll ever leave unless a woman drags him away, because he loves the Lehigh Valley. He works for St. Luke's. He really wants to stay in the valley because it's the kind of life and the kind of place he wants to eventually have a family in. So I see the appeal. I wouldn't have said that 20 some odd years ago when we got here. So that's a testament to your work.
It makes me, in a sense, really emotional in that we were kind of like many of us in life. You know, we're down, so we have our roller coaster of life. And I was here when we were really down. You know, it was a tough, you know, people, plants were closing.
Yeah,
exactly. Beckham Steel closing, and the song, you know, that I don't even want to refer to. But we were, you know, it was tough. Our downtowns were really struggling, and I never thought we'd be where we are today. I cannot believe it's beyond my wildest dream. Look, don't get me wrong. We have work to do. I don't want to get too crazy, too Chamber of Commerce like.
Well, I will tell you though, that was my next question anyway. Look to the future. You've seen 26, almost 27 years of real growth. Where does Tony Iannelli see the future of the Lehigh Valley going?
Well, I think we keep growing. The question is, I think maybe our biggest concern now is, will we lose the quality of life in all this growth? You know, and what does all this growth mean? And there are changes in the community, and we've adapted to them. But I don't see it slowing too much, other than there's not much land for people to do development anymore. So I think a lot of regentrification, if I use that term. Maybe the biggest concern is, can we, particularly in the case of Allentown, can we make sure that our urban cores, our cities, are sharing in the prosperity? Are we lifting them up beyond what's happening as the valley as a whole?
And your office is in downtown Allentown, so you get to see that out of your window.
Well, yeah, we have. Well, it's funny you would say it. We have an office on every main street, Allentown, Bethlehem, East End, and a couple beyond. I actually don't even have an office. I always kid my staff, I don't do anything that has any depth, really. You know, I just go from place to place, person to human, and that's what I love to do. So I have, as you know most of them, Danielle and Frank, and
you've got a good team.
And I could go on. They're amazing. So.
Well, and you know, it's interesting because your team, let's talk about that a little bit, because your team, Danielle, I know, has been there 17, 18 years. You've got some loyal folks, and you've also really lifted up some young people who, you know, you've built some strong leadership, a lot of diversity in the crew. You pride yourselves in that, don't you?
Well, we have the group that, you know, that's been there forever. As you said, Danielle, Frank, Dawn, Allison, and I could go on, Jessica. And then I always kiddingly say we have this great mix. What we do is we hire young people. We are good, I will say this, we are good at coaching people up, if you want to use that term. And then we put them out in public, and then we're totally shocked when someone steals them, you know. So,
yeah,
but it happens
that
a lot.
happens, yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I really am. And I tell my staff, if you have I'll give you a reference. I don't want them to leave, but we've all, you know, we've been in life where people have left jobs and they hand you a box and tell you to get out the door. I think it's important to, when people see how you hire and how you separate with people. You know, it's not always perfectly harmonious, but I think so the question was, yes, I like that we try to lift up people. I wish I've come to grips that some of the younger people that we hire are looking for opportunity, and right now they have tons of it, and it's very competitive, so we lose some.
I will tell you, our son interned with Danielle, so we've had people at the chamber personally. Well, okay, so personally, where's Tony go? So we talked about what's the future for the Lehigh Valley. What's the future for Tony?
Well, it's John Hayes, my former chair, kiddingly says we're on Tony's 5th iteration of his final contract. So I do a contract for the chamber's purpose. I want them to every 2 or 3 years say, what do we want to do? We want to keep him or whatever. So I love what I do.
I hope you like the show, 'cause we're on the bus. And woody-yada-yo.
I absolutely love it, and I love this community. I don't want to get emotional, but I love it. So it's crazy. I apologize. I don't even know what. So I don't, they're going to have to just come in and say, get out of here one day. You're fired.
Wheel you out like they're going to wheel us out from
doing
doing
video. And at the same
video.
time, I wanted to make sure, I've said one time in the past about a certain person, a national figure, at some point you got to let some young people come in. So I've got to get out of the way at some point. So my guess is, I don't know, I love what I do, so I don't like to, it's in my head, just so you know, and it's in we have a future focus committee that's looking at, not will it happen tomorrow, but they're going to be ready. This is how we're going to approach it. This is how this is how the team that's going to fuel it. So we'll get there. Yeah. In the meantime,
I'm not pushing you out, and I'm not going to get the wheelchair.
I know, but maybe I am.
No. And I think you could easily retire there under your own timeline, which is you've made that yours, and I think that's okay.
Unless you grow up, as I said, a middle child of a family like I went to Catholic school, and you're afraid that you're going to get fired for the last 26 years tomorrow. So other than that,
I just don't think
I'm totally
happen.
Confident.
I think you're good. Okay, big switch. But going from that, you have worked with the folks that are behind our little video interview today, the Network Magazine folks. Yeah. How have you worked with them in the past, and how has the chamber found Ray and Chris to work with?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Never mind the magazine, if you will, never mind the initiative. You have to love Ray and Chris. They're just good guys, and they have the energy. This isn't easy to do what they do. Start this and keep it going, and create the amount of energy they do around network. So we've worked with them, and actually we should be working more with them, and that's on us, because I think they do an amazing job of kind of what we do, bringing people together, highlighting people. As I said, it falls back to the leadership. Ray and Chris they're crazy, fun, full of energy, and good people, really good people. They're perfect representative of the Lehigh Valley. The history, you think of Chris and his dad and all that, so it's just good people from the Lehigh Valley.
Excellent. All right. I thank you for your time. We could sit here and talk all day. We'll do it over dinner next time. But no. I'm so happy that you took the time to talk with us, and I thank you for it.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's great to be here. Thank you so much.
We want to thank these sponsors who have made the Network Magazine Executive Forum possible.